Hello everybody, welcome back to AI War Fleet Command. This of course is Zenith Remnant games, difficulty 7.3 or high normal. If you haven't seen the previous two playthroughs, please check those out in the description. This is my second run of this episode, and the reason for that is there was some technical issues with audio not recording properly, and I didn't realize until after I was done with it, so I got to do it again. Now, that does mean that I sort of know what's coming here, but at the same time, it was pretty straightforward, no huge surprises. Anytime I'm going through something and it's not, the genuine first time through, I want to make sure I'm making that clear. So, current situation is a few minutes have passed, not that much since the last episode. I finished building the rest of the turrets and everything, saved up a bit of metal. You can see we've got, less than 1 million, but we're headed in the right direction. And then I packed up the fleet and tried to do some threat cleaning. I moved into Melpomene and everybody escaped into Chiriclo pretty much. I ended up sort of having the same amount of threat that I had when I started. That didn't go too well. And I wanted to take Geonosis to get some more scouting done, but I definitely want to get back to that threat issue. And so I will be doing that. Another thing to notice is that the energy here, if we didn't have the Zenith power generator, we'd have to turn off a bunch of our stuff. But I'm feeling very secure in our defenses, and we're using about a third of that, because 600k, so we've still got 400k. That's more than, 2 planets worth. So we're looking very good on all of that. And what's happening with the threat issue a lot is waves are coming in, and then they're leaving, and the ones that are leaving are just sort of adding to the threat. And so we're going to need to do some cleanings of that pretty regularly from here on out, I think, as they become more common. Game progresses, AI progress goes up, more and more waves of higher volume hit. But for now, we're headed into Geonosis with the main fleet, along with some scouts, because I want to start a new scouting base in here. And of course, the colony ship and all that fun stuff. And this is what was here to greet us. When I first saw this, I was like, what in the world? Now, Geonosis is only a Mark II system. It does have a barracks, and it does have an Astro train station, which we need to concern ourselves with, but I was expecting resistance here to be pretty weak, and it wasn't. And, by the way, threat count, when I came in here, activated all these, it only went up by about less than 40. So a bunch of these were obviously threat already. And they didn't come from Endor, so I'm thinking they were already gathered in Geonosis or coming from somewhere else, and they were going to Endor, and we just sort of met at this wormhole, so hence the title, Ambush at Geonosis. And I had a couple choices here. One is I can just try to fight it out here, which would be my normal route, but the problem is I'm probably not going to wipe these out in a very short period of time. With the Astro train station here, we're probably going to have a lot of Astro trains coming in and out of the system. Not looking too much forward to that. I don't want them to cart off a bunch of my ships and cause all kinds of really bad, messy problems. My transports are really heavily damaged, but I want to move them to the edge of the system, and I want to do that away from this train station. So I kind of wanted to move, like, up here. But there's a bit of a problem, and earlier attempts, this did better at this, but you can see I only have 2 transports left. And it's a bit of luck whether they can get through the mass of everything, but you can see we pretty much just have to fight this out and deal with it. So I'm going to keep the transports going, but just unload everything. There we go. And now start out with about 800 and some, 850, something like that. And this is what we have left. And I'm just going to sort of try to centrally deal with this. I don't think there's any special strategy I want to pursue other than kill all the enemies. Oh, but here comes an Astro train. What's that got? Well, wait on, there's 3 of them. We've got a Tachyon and a tractor. Where's the tractor? Tractor's not... Okay, it's in that group. Okay. So, regardless of cost, we've got to get the heck out of here. I don't care what we lose, we have to get out of the way so they don't tractor a bunch of our ships off. And see, a bunch of them are going to have probably energy, engine damage or whatever. Yep, there they go. They're taking some with them. But I'm just trying to avoid a bigger problem than I have to have. Okay, now they're out. So now let's fight somewhere around here. And let's just see if we can knock these out. Reprisal level 2. Already. Our ships are being killed by ion cannons on Endor. Let's just see what we've got going on in here. And okay, we don't have very many ships left in there. So that's just a mess. And this is worse than it went the first time. It is in the realm of possibilities that I had once I came in here. Okay, 400 ships left. And no more Astro Trains. But again, more could come in at any time. Is part of the problem. So we really need to clean this mess up absolutely as soon as possible. And let's see. Let's get Guardian. Let's see what else we have around here. Okay, doesn't appear to be too bad anymore. Let's get that riot control. Okay. And now I want to get everybody out. Just get everybody over here. And I want to use starships to clean up the rest of the stuff around the wormhole, including this. You know, that missile guardian. But there's a low enough one up. There's another one. And I want to use this. Just use the starships to clean up the rest of that mess. Have the fleet ships come back over here. And then we're going to eventually want to, you know, take our rebuilt fleet and deal with that. Now, we've also got this big wave that appears to have just hit Ariel. And yeah, they're all in here. See, 420 some, but these are a whole bunch of laser gatlings. So laser gatlings not going to overly concern me at the moment. So once I have my starships out of the way and the other ships heading up there, just sending my starships in here, deal with all this. We're going to take out these missile guardians first. Take out any big threats and then take out the smaller ones gradually. There we go, riot control. Let's see who's next. Let's take out the MLRS, I think, and then this Guardian. Okay, we've somewhat salvaged the situation. We do have a reprisal warning level 2, and so I sort of just want to hang out up here and defend until we're no longer adding to that reprisal. Because you know what, let's not make this situation any worse than it is, and let's bring in some more ships, supplement this fleet, get back up to size, and then we can start cranking out the rest of this system. So the AI reprisal eventually hits Jupiter, and it's made up of almost 400 ships, all of which are vampire claws. But our improved defenses did dissuade them, and they also had a leech starship and a plasma. We took out some ships, and the rest retreated. I came back in here with my starships. I've gathered more of my fleet, and then I took out the Astro Train station. There was an Astro Train there. Here it is. It's going to head out to Karen, and once that leaves, I think we have a little more freedom around here without, at least with less, Astro Trains around. But I still want to take this a little bit carefully and not just go willy-nilly through it with our fleet ships. I think I want to go around the edge. You know, the Needler there, those are the two that we've got to hit. And then bring all my fleet ships over here for the barracks. So there's still some work to do. Despite the significant losses we took, we are making progress. And now it's time to handle that wonderful barracks. There it is, and there's Cloaker Guard Post underneath. Not too concerned. Oh, look, couple riot control coming in behind us. Not going to concern myself with that, because right now, just want to take out these ships. And look, we got threat on Thisbe spawning a warp relay, so that'll help us clean out the threat when we can get to it. Okay, that's all gone. Clean up these riot control. And having already taken out the Needlers, and taking far fewer losses, I might add, this second time around. Now there is one little thing here that's going to cause us an issue. This is the Broken Hive Golem, and it's right next to some hostile wormholes, particular Eagle. But we're not going to want to take any of the neighboring systems. There's nothing really of enough value there. So what I'm going to do instead is build the command station over here, which is a much more sensible area, and then just force field up over this. That's not optimal, and it still will be at some risk. This thing is pretty expensive, over 1,000 metal a second. It's going to be a while till we get to it, and I want to protect it, but I don't want the command station out here in the middle of nowhere. I think that's just foolhardy. So that's going to take a little bit of extra investment to get the force fields up and then keep them up until we can get to building, or rather repairing, this golem. So after getting the fleet back to the homeworld, Geonosis is all set up now. See, we're gradually moving up on the metal. Got some scouts in there, but we'll worry about that in a bit. In Thisbe, I sent the raid starships in ahead of time, lost one of them, but they have a Mark IV and a Mark I ion cannon. They did have, they don't anymore. And then I sent in our transports with the fleet. And the idea here is, oh, what are they doing? Well, the idea here is I want to grab threat before they can, get away. But it looks like they're already trying to get away, so let's see where they're going. And okay, they look like they're right here. Yeah, so let's just unload here. And the mirrors are going to be interesting, but I think we'll handle them just due to sheer numbers. Yeah, and they're trying to get out to Jupiter, some of them. Let's take out the spiders. And then clear the rest of this out. Now the threat was up to almost 1,200, and now it's down lower. Hold on, where are we getting attacked? Okay, yeah, a bunch of them just went to Jupiter. Okay, there's a whole bunch of space planes, some vampire claws, but not a lot, and some starships. And I don't think they're going to be able to cause too much of a problem. So I'll let the defenses in Jupiter just handle that while we continue this operation. They're sort of escaping from the frying pan into the fire in that particular situation. And we're mowing down some threat. Now some human resistance fighters decide to very nicely show up and take on some more of the threat that came in to Jupiter here. I didn't really need their help with our turrets in place, but, that was still nice of them. So we've got some engineers getting shot at as they try to help our lovely allies. And the human resistance fighters didn't fare particularly great, but here you can see some more of them had come in from our homeworld to mop up after most of the work was done. So they lost quite a few ships, but this went pretty well. And then on the other side of the wormhole, there's a bunch of threat over here as well. So I figured, well, I can try to come in here and take those out also. Bit of a cat and mouse game ensued, because in that particular case in Melpomene, a lot of them were able to run away, but eventually we started being able to chase them once again into friendly systems. Like here we've got almost 100 of them chased into Sedna. Sedna's turrets are doing a number on them. Those ships in Jupiter are still those space planes that are staying hidden and not doing anything, and they're not really a threat that I'm concerned about. But this is Sigseg 5, which is right next to Aspasia, and there was a Mark III and Mark IV ion cannon, really strong ion cannon pair in there. So again, I send the raid starships in to eliminate them. Again, I lose one of them. The bulk of their ships are not very powerful ones, but the bulk of them over here they really can't run anywhere. So I've sent my fleet in here en masse, and I'm going to try to clear this out. And generally, I think I want to just keep this down to about 500 if I can. If I can get the threat down to 500, I'm going to be okay with it. And I think I'm going to make that happen here, or at least get close to it. And oh, we got more attacking. Geonosis. Let's take a look at that. Okay, there's pretty good variety of stuff here. We may want to come in and help them out some with those bombardment ships later, but we should be okay in the long run. And you can see here's a teleport raider who's going after this stuff. I don't think they'll get very far. We'll eventually blow them up with a sniper or something. So let's come back here. And let's see, let's head over to some of these, get rid of that Raider Guardian. You can see we've captured a bunch of Gatlings, it would appear. Lightning Guardian, let's definitely knock that out quickly. And that's a flat Guardian. There we go. Now we're down under 500. I'm going to take out a few more things here. Going to get rid of that Lightning Guardian, some of these bombardment ships. But I think we're ready to move on at this point from dealing with the threat. And by the time I was ready to move on and start attacking again, we had done some more scouting, which I'll get to later out in this area. And I'd visited Jakku, knocked out a little more threat there. You can see we're down to about 400. All these attacking ships are cloaked ships on our planets, basically just being annoying. But also something else had happened. We had finished our first golem. The regenerator golem, the cheapest one, now online. You can see very little in the way of weapons by golem standards is a 6,000 point laser, which fires every 2 seconds and has pretty substantial range. No armor. Only 4 million health. This thing obviously will want to take on, I think the best role for it would be any difficult attacks that we're going to do. Systems that don't have an eye. You know, any just knockdown, drag out fights. Or if we took a small force into an eye system, I guess that could work. And just pick up anything that we lose and reanimate it at the cost of its own health. So we'll definitely want to keep it out of the way of attack. Now, I don't have a need for it at the moment, but obviously it should be very helpful in the future at one point or another. But for our immediate purposes, my next target is over here, Calliope. And this is another Mark II planet with a barracks. Sound familiar? Same thing we hit at Geonosis. Let's hope we don't have quite as much fun there. Now, next to it is Emma. That alarm post will go off, but you can see there's only 61 ships there. The ones in the barracks don't count. That won't be a big amount of threat that we'll add. And I'm going here because there's another golem and there's more resources, but most importantly, getting that Mark V parasite, because I think that's going to help us in some situations as well. So that seemed to be the easiest one. And then, of course, we've also got Neos. You know, the threatening eye is going to make that one a little bit tougher. It doesn't have as much metal as well. So just all in all, this is the more attractive site. I want to keep expanding first before I head up this way and go off and do anything else. So that's our next target, and we've got the fleet ready to go. Now, in terms of attacking, this turned out to be really a piece of cake. You can see our metal going down. I do have a few engineers working on a broken artillery golem in Sedna, and that's just to keep our metal underneath that 3 million limit. We got plenty of it to do our business here. But we just came in, moved over here. There was a Special Forces guard post. There's a couple Spire shields, a Mark II MLRS. No big problem. And those are all underneath these two wormholes. So we can just sort of sweep around this way, not get too close to the wormholes in case Astro trains come in. If they do, we can run off this way. I don't think this is a major Astro train route because of where it's at in the lower left of the galaxy. But in any case, this is just a walk in the park, except for the barracks fight. But, I mean, still, 300 some Mark II ships, except for one thing. Mark V fabricator down here. We're going to want to cover that with command station and shields. And this is up here right by the two wormholes. The golem is. So, again, we're going to need to cover this with more force fields and use up more energy that way. It's a good thing we've got a lot of it, because we're going to need it for this. But that's really the only thing about this system that doesn't just set up optimally. As it turns out, the AI didn't particularly like us in here. They sent a modest reinforcement group from Emma, several riot control, and some mirrors and some other things, but didn't take too long to take them down. There was the MLRS post in here is gone. There's only the one command station shield, but it's time to take out this barracks. And oh look, more friends coming at the same time. Yeah, there's another 7, 8, 9 riot control there. We'll need to turn around and face them as soon as we can. So the timing of that was not great. And we're losing somewhat more ships now. We're down to over 100 of them lost, but it's really just a case of what the cost is going to be. Yeah, reprisal level 1. Here comes some more fun. But the barracks is down, and this should be a wrap-up fairly quickly. Running a bit long here, but I wanted to get this in as well. This is Iris next to Thule, same neck of the woods. There's about 150 threat in here, so I wanted to get rid of them before I get out of this area. But I had to do something a little bit different because we got an up-close and personal look at this, the anti-starship arachnid guard post, which wrecks starships. So I brought just the fleet ships in. The starships are not far away from the wormhole in Thule. But these, I need to do the heavy lifting first. Then I'll bring the starships in to help when I can. And I actually just want to take out this guard post. And there we go. Okay, so now they can all, engage, whatever. Oh, it looks like they're trying to escape. Don't know if we're going to have time to prevent that. Should be able to at least get some of them. Here comes our starship. Okay, yep, now they're staying in fight and running away. Those tractor beams from the riot control really helping out. Now let's go chase down some of those bombardment ships. Oh, take out the Needler. That's down. Now probably just going to go run around and hit. Oh boy, let's get that. That's a Mark II Spider. Let's get that out of the way. And then clean up the rest of this mess. And we can move on. So I want to wrap that up, get the fleet back, get it reconstituted, all that fun stuff. We've still got the same hiding ships as far as I can tell, but they've been hanging out for a while. They'll eventually float off and probably become more threat. But the actual threat that's out there looking around, down to 500, you can see none anywhere particularly nearby. We'll still probably want to look those up eventually, but we're in pretty safe situation at the moment. So we need to take a look at some of the new stuff that we found. We've got a data center in Kashyyyk, along with a bunch of other stuff. We've got one down here in Themis as well, along with a power generator, a Zenith power generator in this area. And if we look at where that is, it's right over here by this. Now the thing about this one is it's way away from any wormhole. So this is a potential place to look at for possible expansion. Energy is still good for now, but one more would probably help us. And look at 7 metals. This would be a real resource-rich system. We may or may not need it because we seem to be... The costs seem to be accurate when I built the regeneration golem here, but the one in Sedna is more expensive and going much quicker. You can see that the broken artillery golem, most of the way there, there's no way that we're paying out the full 30 million on that. So I'm not sure exactly how that works. I should probably take a bit and turn off the assist on that, turn off all my other production, and see exactly how much that is costing me, because there's no way it's costing me the full 30 million. Now we did find some other things. we've got, oh, another data center there. I forgot to mark that one. So we're starting to find some data centers. Out here in Geonosis is nothing special, but you can see more wormholes out this way, so we could be having an expansion up here to the upper right. Another big Zenith reserve there in Diadema, and most notably, an advanced factory in a Mark IV system. Now, I want to explore more, find out what's there, but, I mean, obviously that's going to be a priority to get that, or the other one if we find another one as soon as possible. The metal here sucks, so if I really should probably be patient, find both of them before I decide what to do, figure out what we can do, and also advanced research station in Portia. I want to investigate that, see if that's worth taking, another poor metal system, but we may want to take it if it's got a good set of ships for us. So still plenty more targets to go, even though we're at 13 planets. And we'll have to decide what to do about that next time. Until then, thanks for watching. More AI War Fleet Command coming up.